So that brings us to the adequate measures to be taken by the parents. Like we all know, charity begins from home, and the spiritual upbringing, the moral upbringing that is being inculcated into a child will determine how that child acts when he or she gets outside. So our parents has a major role to play in this. Once a child lacks moral upbringing, once a child lacks some spiritual upbringing, the Bible says we should train up a child in the way it should grow, and he will not depart from it when he's old. So these trainings are the ones we give to a child, and when that child gets out, we see the traits that is being portrayed in that child. From there we would know if this child has been given a good upbringing or a bad one. And so the parent has a very major say in this, because once a child begins to act funny or act somehow, a parent should know that yes, this is not the way my child acts, and he has begun to act somehow and she's acting somehow. So you should be able to know, and you should be able to move closer to that child to know what that child is going through. Some males might be going into pornography, and it is when the parent is being
Drawn nearer to the child.
when the parent draw nearer to the child, that is when he or she will know that
What the
this
child
child is doing. So looking at it, our parent has a very very key role to play in this. And once the parent lacks these ingredients to be embedded and inculcated into that child, the child will become a menace itself to the community. And so that is how it is. The parent has a major role to be played, either spiritual or moral upbringing. The parent has the major role to be played.
Thank you, Miss Ayomide, for the one you've said. I also want to contribute to what you've said earlier. Some parents, I've noticed that some parents leave their children at home, going to work early, and leaving or handing over their children to nannies and babysitters to take care of their children when their children are lacking parental training in some other things, and they get influenced by their peers in school and in the society.
Faithful, I appreciate you for that. There's also one thing I want to add, because you cannot be so sure of your relatives, your family members, some parents when they're going out for work or to get something or run errands. We just drop their children with their family, friend, families, even immediate family, and some of these people just just misuse those children. And some of them said they even forced, even when the parents come they cannot even report because they are forced or threatened by those people.
Yes.
Also, in this parenting aspect, the role of a mother cannot be overemphasized. Once a mother is not there, once there is no mother figure in the life of a child, yes, once a mother figure is not in the life of a child, there is this kind of vacuum it leaves in the life of that child. Because I cannot imagine me being a mother now, leaving my own daughter to an uncle in the neighborhood who I don't know who he is. It might be a sexual pervert and I don't know, and I'll just leave my little daughter, my little girl there with him. I don't know what will happen. And sometimes it might even be in the school. So parents, mothers especially, you have a major role to play in this, because once a child leaves home to school, you should be able to handle that child in such a way that he or she tells you whatever he's going through whenever he comes back to school. Darling, how are you? What did you learn today? What happened in school today? And you interact well with that child. You tend to get things when you do that every day. You tend to get things that you may likely not know, but you will know them.
Yes.
Because there is this relationship with that child. And for no reason, I repeat, should you leave your female child to a male person or
Relatives.
male figure who you don't trust. At times trust can be mistaken, or trust itself has so many things attached to it, embedded in it. And sometimes just the only thing there to say is
You can't
don't
be so-
leave.
you can't be so
Yes,
sure who
you
you
can't
trust.
be so
If
sure
it's not the
who you
parent,
trust.
the daddy, if it's not the brother, then permit me to say, let's just end it there.
You said it all, and I will hope our parents out there watching us and listening to this will take precautions and cautions against this. We would have Miss Ogechi tell us the adequate measure to be taken by vulnerable people. Over to you, Miss Ogechi.
Yeah, thank you.
they have to keep their personal information must be kept, because if you do not keep your personal information and you're exposing yourself to them, they can also take advantage of your weakness, and at that moment
Wait.
they can be able to attack you. So it is very, very necessary for us to keep our personal information to ourselves than telling people about it. And at the same time, we should avoid walking in a lonely road. We should learn to walk with people when we are moving. We should not just say that we are free, we are big, and we can be able to walk ourselves. And at the same time, when we are threatened, when we are threatened by people, we should be able to speak out, because when we are speaking out, it also help us a lot, and it also motivates us the more. And at the same time, we should be say things out to people, because the more we say things out to people, the more they know what we are going through, and that's really, really can help us all.
Why I suggested pepper spray is because when the vulnerable individual finds himself or herself in danger, he can use or she can use this as a self-defense against being a victim. So that was why I suggested the use of pepper spray. Just majorly for self-defense, nothing else. Use it immediately. You use it, then find your way out of that place. Run, flee. That's just the main purpose for the pepper spray. I think another measure that should be looked into is the aspect of social media and entertainment. I think there's a major role to be played there.
In addition to what Miss Ayo said, I think there should be like this entertainment industry. There should be regulation. They should regulate the content of the immoral and lewd music and movies. And so we should not victim blame the victim. We should stop victim blaming the victim. We should be ready to listen to what the victim has to say. And thirdly, there should be this orientation for most, especially boys, for what is cool, by the contemporary language, for what we know to be right. That it is well and it is well acceptable, and it is very okay that we should respect, that they should respect the female gender, and they should also not just force sexual intercourse without obtaining appropriate consent from them.
Thank you, everyone. This has been a beautiful discussion and a very interesting one. We've been able to learn, unlearn, and relearn some things, and it has been a wonderful section, actually. And the bottom line there is no excuse that justifies rape. And our parents, our governments, our society of today, we all have roles to play in bringing back sanity to our community. Thank you. I, Akomalafe Ayomide, say no to rape.
I, Ogechi, say no to rape.
I, Ago Faithful, say no to rape.
My name is Ekram Priscilla, and I say no to rape.
We are Talk Challenge, say no to rape.
Subscribe.